Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are going to completely shatter your everyday understanding of reality, geometry, and literally the very light you see. We're taking a journey that starts with simple shapes on a piece of paper and ends by completely redefining the universe around us. Seriously, if you think you know how dimensions work, prepare to have your perspective entirely flipped. Okay, let's dive right in by questioning the physical weight of everything around us. Take a second. Just look at the walls in your room. The door, those heavy objects sitting on your desk. Have you ever wondered, from a purely mathematical perspective, where all that thickness and weight actually comes from? Like, how do abstract ideas taught in a classroom actually become the heavy, dense reality we live in? To figure this out, we've got to start from the absolute basics of abstract geometry.
To truly understand our physical reality, scientists mathematically start from the absolute ground up. Picture a zero-dimensional point. In math, this point has literally zero dimensions, no movement, no direction whatsoever. It's totally static. But the second you move that point, boom, you create a one-dimensional line, which moves in one single direction. Then stretch that line out and you get a two-dimensional shape, like a square. These 2D shapes have length and width, sure, but they are entirely flat. They're completely lifeless.
But here's where we hit a massive problem, a giant paradox, really. How exactly do these flat, weightless mathematical concepts, these almost ghost-like ideas that only exist on paper, translate into the heavy reality of a speeding car or, the solid coffee table you just stubbed your toe on? On one side, we have an abstract world of zero weight. On the other side, we have our incredibly heavy physical reality. So how on earth do they connect? Section 1. The Hodge Conjecture, Shadows and Bodies. To bridge this massive disconnect, we first look at the mathematical framework of the Hodge Conjecture. It essentially states, if there is a shadow, there is a body. Think about a shadow on the ground. It's totally flat, right? It's a 2D shape you can't pick up or hold. But its very existence proves beyond a doubt that there's a solid, 3D body casting it. The conjecture brilliantly argues that every flat 2D mathematical ghost is securely tethered to a solid 3D body in our reality. They snap together just like Lego pieces. Section 2. The Nature Window, Crafting Thickness. But simply saying math and reality are tethered isn't quite enough. The Nature Window framework gives us the exact mechanical steps of how flat math literally creates physical thickness from scratch. It works like a very strict recipe. Step 1. You take two totally abstract, flat 2D shapes and place them facing each other. Step 2, and this is a mandatory, non-negotiable rule, you must leave an empty space between them. Do that, and step 3 happens. Physical properties like density and thickness are magically born out of mathematical nothingness. We are literally witnessing the birth of physical properties. And this perfectly illustrates the difference in our physical reality. What you do with that mandatory empty space completely dictates the object. If you stuff that space with material, you get solid, thick objects that are fundamentally still classified as 2D surfaces. Think about the doors or walls around you. They're flat shapes, but stuffing the space between them gives them physical thickness. On the flip side, if you leave that space hollow, you create a brand new third dimension, actual height. That creates true 3D environments, like the inside of your car or the very room you're sitting in right now. The hollow void itself is what creates the 3D volume. Now, as a super fascinating quick aside, there is one mathematical exception to this rule, and it involves circles. When you face two abstract circles together, they uniquely create extremely thin, hollow 2D objects without needing any internal material filling whatsoever. Everyday examples of this weird mathematical loophole: the rings on your fingers or the tires on your car. Yep, you are literally driving to work on a mathematical exception. They behave completely differently than filled walls or hollow rooms. Section 3. Redefining the fourth dimension. Now that we've constructed our 3D world, let's build this up to the elusive fourth dimension. And I promise you, it is not time travel or some sci-fi parallel universe. Unlike Einstein's famous view of time as a dimension, which acts more like a boundary, the Nature Window framework redefines it entirely. It defines the fourth dimension purely as a spreading direction. It's simultaneous movement in literally all directions at the exact same time. Because this dimensional movement expands everywhere instantly, it completely destroys our comfortable, familiar 3D concepts of place. Think about it. If you exist in a state where you're moving everywhere at once, any idea of up or down, left or right, forward or backward, it's just totally eliminated. Direction as we know it completely ceases to exist. This directly challenges the Hodge Conjecture's mathematical approach we talked about earlier. The Hodge Conjecture believes that even invisible 4D objects must have mathematical shapes we can formulate. But the nature window argues this is fundamentally wrong. Because 4D objects are spreading in all directions simultaneously, they simply cannot hold a form. They are entirely shapeless, completely without abstract form. And because of that, they are entirely invisible to us. They exist all around us, much like the air we breathe. Section 4. The illusion of light. Which brings us to the absolute most mind-bending part of this explainer. What exactly are these shapeless, invisible objects spreading around us in the fourth dimension? To answer that, we have to talk about light. Let's test your perception of reality with a simple question about something you look at every single day. Do you think you can actually see light? Just answer honestly in your head right now. Well, if you said yes, you are wrong. According to this framework, we are fundamentally unable to see light itself. No way. What we actually see are physical objects and the distinct, specific energy those objects give off when they interact with invisible light. Let me give you a really beautiful example. Think about those little specks of dust dancing in a morning window. You naturally assume you're seeing a beam of sunlight, but you aren't. What's actually happening is that shapeless, invisible 4D light is interacting with those physical dust particles. As a result, the dust reacts and emits its own visible energy. We only see the dust because it's suddenly surrounded by this emitted energy. You are seeing the energy of the dust, not the light itself. Section 5. Invisible light versus visible energy. To truly grasp this paradigm shift, we've got to draw a strict line between invisible light and visible energy. They are not the same thing. Fire, in all its forms throughout the universe, is the visible, sensible energy source. It belongs firmly to our third dimension. You can see it, you can feel its heat. This visible energy interacts with objects, causing them to emit the energy by which we see everything. On the completely opposite side, true light and air are shapeless, invisible 4D entities. They're just quietly spreading in all directions around us at the same time, totally unseen by the human eye. So as we wrap up this journey, look at your hands, look at the solid room around you. Ask yourself, is everything you feel right now really just the heavy, dense shadow of weightless math? Does mathematical meaning actually precede physical existence? And is the bright, vibrant light you think you see every single day really just a 3D illusion of a hidden, invisible 4D reality? It kind of completely changes how you look at the world, doesn't it? Keep asking those questions, and I'll see you next time as we continue to explain the fascinating mechanics of our universe.